And let's get started. Of course, the National Sports Festival, the second edition here in Nigeria, has come to an end only a few hours ago in Abeokuta. It's popularly tagged the Gateway Games, ended in what has been described as a very colorful closing ceremony last night.
Yeah, very colorful indeed, because we saw top-notch musicians who also thrilled the crowd with a whole lot of entertainment. But beyond that, we also saw some recognition from some of the key performers, and then again praises and eulogy to the host state, talking about Ogun State, who put up an impressive show, because we never had it this good, where it's the first time that we'll be having a hitch-free national sport festival where accommodation wasn't an issue, transportation wasn't an issue. So I think for me, one of the best. So the closing ceremony, just like we saw the opening ceremony that was filled with pomp and pageantry, was yet another display of excitement and the apex of sport festivity right here. So I think I want to endorse them. It's a good outing for the state. Next is Enugu State, which I think their representative as well were there in the closing ceremony to take one or two examples, maybe as a key step going forward to see how they can be able to address certain things they feel might not have gone well this time around. So it was a colorful closing ceremony.
One of the highlights of the closing ceremony was a presentation by the Nigerian Olympic Committee's Women's Commission, who presented trophies to Anambra and Kogi State, along with the team of the invited junior athletes. Remember them, they are the 37th contingent in the competition, for promoting equal participation of women within their contingent. This is, for me, a very laudable and laudable idea, having same contingent, both for male and female, equal for Kogi and Anambra. This as well was very noticeable with the independent invited athletes.
Yeah, I think for me it's very
junior
nice.
athletes.
It's very nice about gender parity, so if the boys are more like 10, the girls also makes up that number as well. So there is no gender discrimination where you tend to pay much attention to the boy's child and less attention to the female child. So for me, I think I deserve the award because sport has all-encompassing tools to develop our youth here, and of course the girls, they are also part and parcel of the youth. So giving them that equal representation, I think, is a way forward for me. So truly deserving our award for such recognition for what they did, trying to make an equal balance of their own contingent, both the male and female having the same number. I think it was an impressive idea from them.
Very impressive addition to the National Sports Festival for this year, where there was equal participation of women and men in the contingents coming from Kogi and Anambra State. We saw very laudable, addition of women as well in the invited junior athletes contingent for the games. And now let's look at the medals table. As usual, yes, 5 times now we've had Delta State come first, on the medals table. Whooping 324 medals, 123 were in gold color, 96 in silver color, while 105 of the 325 medals won by Delta State was in the bronze color. Who can stop Delta State? This is the 5th triumph consecutively at the National Sports Festival.
I think who can stop Delta State? The question, maybe in the next edition of the National Sport Festival, teams like Bayelsa is what I'm probably looking up to give Delta a run for their money come next edition. If not, I tell you, it could be very difficult to stop Delta, because over the course of the year, they've been able to, assemble some of the best athletes, both sport men and women, to represent them at the National Youth Games. And of course, you see, whenever they go for the National Youth Games, National Sport Festival rather, they parade large number of delegates, about 1,000 something, and they're not just parading them, but then having some of these key sportsmen and women doing pretty well in their respective discipline. So for me, I think it's going to take other states a very long time for them to do what Delta is doing. And Delta, before the start of the competition, they carefully prepare their athlete, their contingent ahead of what lies ahead, because they know what it means. I think for me, like I say, it is only Bayelsa State that can be able to mount a serious challenge against Delta in the next edition. If not, I think the status quo will still remain come next edition.
It looks interesting because looking at the medals table, there's a revised medals table as we speak because Delta State won 126 gold medal, 100 silver, and a whooping 111 bronze medal. Ogun State now is second on the table. They've just narrowly toppled Bayelsa because Ogun State now have 93 gold medals, 65 silver, and 80 bronze medal, as compared to Bayelsa State, who is in the third place position with 92 gold medals, 65 bronze, and 65 bronze, silver, and 71 bronze medal. Bayelsa State, all this while, had been in second place position, but now by a difference of 1 gold medal, we have Ogun State in the second place position. Don't forget, Ogun State are the host state.
I think for me, I'm sensing some form of, monkey business in this. Why Ogun State coming just at the back door to nick this one on the board? The reason for my suspicion is very clear. Most or some of the contingent, while they lock horns against the Ogun State, the host state in one or two disciplines in the sporting event, some have alleged that Ogun State tried to manipulate their way. For example, a Kano contingent in the golf event against Ogun State, at some point, it nearly turned out to be a fight for all, a free fight for all between the contingents or the officials of Kano State and that of Ogun State in the golf event, where the Kano State alleged, some form of, inconsistency. So for me, I think there is something that is not clear. Just because they are the host state, they just want to at least finish at second or finish within the podium. And I think for me, it shouldn't be the way to go. I'm just alleging, though, because of some of the incidents that I heard or see, rather, from our reporters right there on ground, even before the conclusion of this game. But whichever way, I think they did pretty well. But for Bayelsa State, I think they will be holding their head very high. If this were to be in a neutral ground, I can tell you for sure that Ogun State would not have toppled Bayelsa State in the medals log.
And in the fourth place position is Rivers. Rivers with 76 gold medal, 58 silver, and 65 bronze medal came fourth. Rivers ordinarily should be within the first three, but here they have been pushed to the fourth place position.
Yeah, for Rivers, I think they started their dominance late, about day 3 of the competition before they began to pick their mojo. And if they had started earlier, probably they should have finished within second or even third position. But whichever way, I think it wasn't a bad outing for them, though.
Well, you're asking about Edo State. Edo State this time they pushed down fifth, and it's quite a lot. Looking at the medals table, every state had something to take home.
Yes, exception of some of these states which their performance wasn't that good. The likes of KB, the likes of Katsina, Zamfara. These are states that you should expect. And the interesting aspect of this is that the state which finished with just 1 bronze medal or 2 thereabout, rocking the basement of the medals log, about 4 of those states, they are within the northern enclave or the north central region. So one begin to wonder and begin to ask so many questions on why. When you talk about the northern and the north central, going through the population demography, they have a lot of population, and most of this population, their demographic report is that the youth outweighs the the aged ones. So if you have a large number of youth within the north or north central, one tend to wonder why they are not faring well on the medal slug in every of national sport festival. This is not just the first time, so it come more like a recurrent decimal, and this charge should go straight to the Ministry of Sport, led by Bukola Olakpade, to see how we can be able, to make the youth within the north or north central more effective. Let them participate in sporting activity. Of course, maybe just one of the disadvantage is about the insecurity issues and all of that over there, but then that shouldn't be an excuse. Sport should be used as a tool to rehabilitate them and bring peace and tranquility within the north and north central region. So for me, I think that is the angle I'm really worried. This is not the first time. We can't be hosting the National Sport Festival. We find the north central, even the southeast as well, not doing very well. If you go through the medal slug from 1st to 10th position, you really find these states that I just mentioned, which for me, I think there is need for we to have a holistic development of sports right here in the country.
Just before we wrap up on the National Sports Festival, we now know that, yes, the festival will be hosted next by Enugu State. But something interesting about this National Sports Festival, we talked about the invited junior athletes as a novelty of or just an addition for the very first time in the history of the National Sports Festival. Of course, it's into this 22nd edition. We had the national teams, the national under-17 male and female football teams in this competition, and they were both beaten by states, but they came to the final and they lost out via penalties. That was really commendable, seeing the national under-17 male and female football team get to the very final of their competition at the National Sports Festival, and losing via penalties.
Yeah, I want to say good one for them, more like a pep match for them to warm up ahead of their September, World Cup event. So I think them giving that invitation is a nice one. It's more like using it as a scouting ground for the coach Oluwokere to look out for new players that we can be able to integrate into the main team. So for me, not a bad outing for them.
In the days ahead, and of course leading up to this weekend Sports Extraordinary, we'll take a look at highlights of the just concluded National Sports Festival. A lot to talk about. National Sports Commission, if you ask me, have been very, very assiduous, and of course they've done well in my estimates, and then we just hope that this will be worked upon, because the idea of having invited junior athletes take part in this one, and they are in categories. If you win silver, you win bronze, you win gold, it graduates your level of preparation by the country ahead of international, continental, and national competition. So I think it is a very good initiative that deserves to be worked upon. A lot of athletes are looking forward in the next few months to Enugu State, the next host of the National Sports Festival. Now let's get to other issues on our program this morning. And Mike, we'll start in, international athletics. We just finished with the local one, if you ask me. And Nigerian sprinter Tima God Bless made headlines at the National Athletics Competition, preliminary meet at Florida in the United States of America. We saw a personal best time of 10.91 seconds in the first heat of the women's 100 meters. Under 11 seconds for a female in 100 meters is quite a recognizable time.
Yeah, quite a recognizable time. In fact, it was an impressive display from her, and courtesy of that, her impressive show, she now ranked 4th fastest Nigerian, behind the likes of Blessing, behind the likes of Blessing and the rest of them out there. So it was more like electrifying moment for her, and one of the best timing so far this year across the globe, not just here in Nigeria. So I think for me, most of the Nigerians in their outdoor events so far for this 2025 to 2026 season they've been very, very impeccable. Have other Nigerians, about 3 of them, also qualifying for
Edidi Ongudo put up as many as 45.59 seconds in the 400 meters heat event. In the men's 100 meters, we saw 3 Nigerians qualify for the quarterfinals. That's quite a good one. 3 Nigerians in the quarterfinals of the men's 100 meters. How fast can we be?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time before we see how fast they can go. But then that numerical number is an advantage for us. About 3 of them that have qualified for the quarterfinal at most, one should go through to the next round of the competition. And I think for me, a nice way and the best way for we to continue to prepare ahead of the World Athletic Championship that comes up in a few months' time.